You are listening to APEX1 Radio. Stay with us for the best bet in the new wave of communication. APEX1 Radio. Get informed, enjoy, and learn.
Without much ado, we are beginning with our first stopover. We should be in Cameroon. And when we get to Cameroon, we shall go to the northwest region of that country, precisely the headquarters of that region. And in Bamenda, we have our reporter, Wanchia Cynthia, who has been looking into 2016, and she has been taking the temperature of Bamenda this last day of the year. And so, from there, she now joins us. Cynthia, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Special thank to all the listeners of the program. Of course, like you earlier on indicated, it's less than 30 minutes or crossing over to the year 2017. Days like this, year is like this. We usually have churches that prepare over services for their Christians. We equally have some persons who don't want to go to church, but who would rather go to a bottle or two to spend. But I must indicate that compared to the past years, this year, things are a little bit timid and slow. People are still leading it that year of what transpired in the northwest region, precisely in Bamenda, and the southwest region too. The strike, but just a common story. This particular evening, the whole town has been set with uniformed men. So people, out of curiosity, most of them took the time to watch the speech of the president back at home. It's just one of the things that people are very, very anxious to watch, to hear what the president has to say to the citizens of Cameroon. Well, that is how this particular evening, that's a picture of how Bamenda looks like this particular evening. There are people who are in church, people who only leave church after 12. It's a crossover, so most of them have decided to do it that way. There's been much talk to discussing reactions to the speech of the head of state of Cameroon, that is Excellency President Paul Biya. People have talked, some have expressed disappointment that they expected more to have cancelled the speech. There were others who say they're satisfied because indirectly he recognized that the written microphone problem and has asked government ministers to get involved in a frank dialogue with all stakeholders who are involved. So at a certain point, he referred to them as extremists, he referred to them as people who have human support, or that they are trying to manipulate others, so that at the end, he did acknowledge that there is a problem and that this problem are going to look into. Still concerning the temperature within the northwest region, there are some other persons who also decided to mark the scale of air by showing some extended dog away from home to some vulnerable kids or some orphans. There are a whole lot of persons. One thing I realized in the main that is that some people decided to offer something to kids who are vulnerable, to orphans, or because that's going to have most of the kids. This was the very most one of the ones that happened, organized by Super Africa. It was the first Christmas party where the Madam Cynthia also took some time to get some items with some orphans within the Bamenda municipality. That's how things look like, if I would put it that way. In Bamenda, precisely, is the capital city of the northwest region of Cameroon. But remember that I told you that the streets, unlike in the past years, where you always have to gather and wait for 12 noon to set tires on fire, shooting of knockouts and things like that. They are doing it now within the quarters because of the speed presence of the military within Bamenda.
Cynthia, you're not going away yet. Just one or two questions for you. First question, this is away from what has been going on in Bamenda this last day. This is personal. You happened to have joined APEX1 Radio in the course of 2016. I would like you to assess your experience. How was the experience reporting from Bamenda for APEX1 Radio this 2016?
Thank you very much for that question. I must say that it's been an exciting time with APEX Radio. It's been a period too where, apart from trying to catch up with other things, I also want to try to meet up too. With reports, with interviews for APEX, alert, it gets to my feet. And there's just a whole lot that I've learned from you, and equally from myself. There's a whole lot of support that has come from you. It's also been a great experience to have even, I think, APEX Radio is a platform that has given me a name where I can have my stories online. I can have them on YouTube. So I always feel, like the other day I just about something I told my friends and siblings that just go to Google and put Wanchia Cynthia and see what we have. And when we tried it, we realized that most of the stories that I have, most of the stories I've done for APEX that are on YouTube with the trees that but before, I don't think that was something that we could easily just find. It's really not. It's also not have been very, very comfortable at times, but because I believe that my own way of contributing to a change to in the society. Because each time we have to do an interview and I'm somebody that the radio station is doing this person is on time. The person who is alert. He or she knows that okay, this is something that is not just being to end at the level of the north, but it's something that is also being to out of country by Cameroon as well as diaspora, and even my persons who and not I have a Cameroon nationality. I think primarily I'll say it's been a wonderful time.
Right. I would imagine that covering Bamenda as a reporter in 2016 required a lot of courage, given what went on in that town this year. But away from what you know and what actually made reporting in Bamenda quite a hard nut to crack this year, what event do you think was remarkable, which you covered? Is there any of such events you think you would always, want to remember in 2016? Some event that actually marked you?
I think most of the reports or interviews I did was quite interesting, but the one that touched me, or the one that I actually had to think for it, was when I was having this report or update on what transpired in Bamenda, that is with the strike of the Anglophone lawyers, later on the chair, and then later on by trade unions for bike riders, for tax and equality for leaders. That particular period was, it's the very first time that I did a report on conflict or crisis. So it was quite challenging, taking into consideration the violence, taking also into consideration the military, those in uniform or those in government who didn't want the press, who didn't want the press freely having first-hand information on what was actually happening. I think that was the very first time that I felt different. I felt some difficulty going about my job because there is no way you want to do an accurate report without getting to the field to have this information. It's the very first time I could hear gunshot live, from just not far from where you are. It's the first time I had an experience with tear gas. It's the first time you have to just start running. You just suddenly start and people are running and then you start running without even knowing why you're running. At the at the second point when you ask, oh, so why was I running again? And they'll tell you it's because of people were chased from down there. I think this particular report, it was one of the highlights for me during this 2016. And of course, as we move into 2017, that story when you have to be on the pitch because we want to see the fact, we want to know if this strike actually brought a change, if policies were changed because of the strike by the lawyers, that is on teachers, and then equally the bike riders, the captors, and the traders, the treatment of businessmen. It's a good thing for us to see that the person was able to say that a committee was going to look into these problems and solutions. And just to hope that definitely we are going to change, we're going to have a positive response to demands that have been faced by the different sectors.
Cynthia, I want to thank you so much. But just before you go away, this is the season of sharing, season of love. Do you have any family members, loved ones, and friends you would love to extend your New Year wishes to?
Oh, yes, of course. Thank you very much for this opportunity. First of all, I'll start by wishing you a happy New Year. I think it's one of the good things that people have to have met. In fact, I'm very, very grateful, for that, and I'm looking forward to an exciting 2017 as well as and to all other countries of APEX1, and especially myself, a special happy New Year to him as well. What he wants to happy New Year to my family, my immediate family, my husband, I've been this time because in Cameroon at this moment it's really late to be up at this R3 report like this. I want to thank him for his understanding all the time. I also want to extend happy New Year to the entire Wanchia family, those of them who are bred. I hope some of them equally forget at the moment that most of them told them much about APEX, and to all friends and to all those who have always taken time to listen to APEX, to appreciate the report for APEX1. I equally want to wish them a happy and prosperous New Year.
Cynthia, all that ends well. Thank you so much. We want to wish you a very prosperous New Year 2017. Thank you so much for all you did for APEX1RADIO this 2016. We must appreciate your effort and say that it was worth it. And thank you so much. We wish you all the best. Our special greetings to your family for understanding, because I understand we actually got into your schedule this year and chopped much of your time, but then you made that sacrifice and it came out successfully. Thank you so much, Cynthia, and do have a fantastic rest of the day out there, and wish you the best in 2017.
Thank you very much as well.
Bye for now.
Thank you again for tuning in with APEX1 Radio. Stay with us on www.apex1radio.com. APEX1 Radio, your radio.